This is a assignment that I want all of you to execute and keep your focus on, because I want to go through several items that people who are even Photoshop advanced people don't know that some of these things exist. So the first on the list that I want to go through is using filters. All of you have gone up to filter, and all of you have chosen going to the filter gallery. What I want to do first is explore that, okay? But look at my layer palette. I have something, and just please honor this. Just don't show the upper folder yet. Wait till you're done with all of the filters and then show the upper folder, because that's the second thing I want to show you, okay? And a lot of this also has to do with just color and the color swatches palette, which I'm going to put away for a second down here, okay? To start this off, so just please don't open that yet, okay? I mean, you can if you want. No, you can't. No, just don't open it yet. It's not a big deal. Just don't. And don't look at it yet. It's not like you're going to look at it soon. So you have a background layer. I want you to duplicate it, and I don't want you to ever mess up an original that the client gives you. So obviously, I want you to save as on this file and add your name to the file, but I'm going to go through and I'm going to label this upper one, which is what I want you to do. So open up your file that you're given, duplicate the background layer, double click inside of here, and just name it 1A. Okay, just 1A. That's fine. Now, with that selected, I want you to enter, and with the layer selected, enter the filter gallery. In the filter gallery, I want you to choose up here in artistic. So in artistic, you're going to choose neon glow. Okay. Please choose neon glow, because this is getting this isn't about you being creative. This is about you understanding stuff. Okay. So I want you to look at what I'm given from that first fire hydrant that was there. Okay. I can have, and I want you to, just for the heck of it, just please go with this, because I'm going to check yours. Okay. I want you to put your glow size on -5. -5. So I'll even type it, -5. I want you to put your glow brightness right now on 20. Okay, just leave it on there. And I want you to choose any color, but I chose magenta. So I chose up here like this, and I just chose a nice bright magenta. I also want to talk about being in gamut and being out of gamut. We're going to keep this as an RGB file to be shown on a computer or on a screen. If this was going to get printed, I don't want you to have this caution flag showing that I'm clicking on right there. That means it's out of gamut. That means it's not possible to achieve that color in CMYK. That means that in order to achieve that color, and I want you to look at this palette. You see how it's darker here below? It's trying to tell you that in CMYK, if you choose this bright magenta, it's really going to print with this grayness on it. Now watch this caution flag go away when I move the select button here down to where the caution flag goes away. Now let's just keep on moving over to the left, keep on moving, and now the caution flag is still there. Look it is amazing that it's actually still there. So let's go to an area. Oh, I finally got to where it's actually not there. So when you don't see the caution flag is when you select a color, it's actually going to print out of a printer. An inkjet printer, a laser printer, whatever you want to call it. So when you are working in CMYK, don't be out of gamut. Because a lot of students actually try to choose bright colors like this, and then they blame the printer or the computer that the colors didn't print, when all the while this is trying to tell you, hey, you silly person, you're out of gamut. So be in gamut in CMYK, and that's especially to you designers who are going to be working in CMYK. For this, I'm going to stay out of gamut. I'm going to stay way out of gamut because this is going to maintain RGB. This is possible on a projector. So I'm just going to say OK. That's fine. Now, look at how I can actually change this to different values. Look at how it changes. So you can change it to different values. Now, my question to you is, if you go to a +5, see how it actually now shows inside the image to a +5 to 8? So that color right here can either be on the interior, which is positive, or beyond the interior, which is negative. So it actually goes beyond the image. We're going to choose beyond the image. And yes, for the purposes of this assignment, I'm going to stay out of gamut and in magenta. Now, I am going to ask you right now, is that the only thing that's possible? Is this the only color I can alter? Is this the only solution? Is this the only possibility out of this filter? And I'm way here to tell you, after I click OK, that it's not. There are a lot more. And I'll get into that in a minute. But you're going to turn in something because I want you to check out the example file named Brian that I sent you along with this assignment in the zip folder. I want you to see how many are available, but I would actually like you to see it after you do it. You don't have to see it now. So don't go in there and looking at it now. It's not going to help you. So now I want to duplicate this again, and I want to name it 1B, which is what I want you to do. Now, all I want you to do is put it on top. We can turn off the bottom two images. They don't have to be on. And I'm just going to flip the foreground and background colors. I'm just going to hit the X key. Now watch them flip. Boom. Okay. Let's go to Filter. Let's go to Filter Gallery. Now we have a whole different thing. Look at how we have black, which is the foreground color, right? Let me cancel. See how black is actually the foreground color and white is the background color? Don't take those names literally. Foreground doesn't mean foreground in the foreground of your picture, and background doesn't always mean in the background of your picture. Okay, just as long as you get that straight. Let's go into Filter, Filter Gallery. Let's just zoom in, leave everything alone. It's not important. I just want you to leave this on -5 and 20. Just please, just for this. I'm going to check. I'm the client. I get to say so. Okay? Now I'm going to click OK. Now, I want you to have these two. Please choose. I don't care if you choose a different color, but just stay in magenta if you don't mind. Okay? Don't choose something atrociously ugly. I don't care, I guess. Whatever. If you want to try to be creative, great. But you're not putting this in your portfolio. Turn it off. Let's duplicate it again. Now, let's move it up. Let's name this 2A, which is what I want you to do. Now, here's where you kind of get to be creative. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, well, you know what? Since black actually did affect the filter as the foreground color, and white did affect the filter as the background color, I'm going to try to make the black a soft yellow like this. Then I'm going to go in and make the background color kind of like the fire hydrant blue. Look, I'm going to click on this fire hydrant blue up here. I'm just going to say OK. All right, and let me make this a little bit sweeter color. Let me just go up into the bright area. Okay. Now I've actually altered the foreground and background colors before I went into the filter gallery. So yes, it does matter what your background and foreground colors are before you enter any filter, A N Y, any filter. So I want now to enter the filter gallery, and look, I get this really cool thing. Look at how if the client's colors were yellow and blue, or pink and red, or whatever color the client's colors were, you could actually utilize the client's colors within the filter. Now all I want you to do, there's no need to change this magenta thing here. I might change it, I might not. That's not the point. The point is I wanted you to see the difference. Now, let's duplicate the bottom again. Let's put it up on top. Let's call it 2B. Now let's just see what hitting the X key does. Now let's go into the filter gallery again. Whoops, I have to actually show it. And so I had to show it and select on it. Silly me. Let's go into the filter gallery and I get this really cool thing. So let's click OK. Now I want you to do number 3 and 4. Now I'm going to open up Brian's thing. Okay, so I'm going to go up to the window, which I already have opened. I don't have to go up here. See, you can't see my tabs, right? I don't want to go up here and have to scroll all the way down to change it to these two things. That's silly. If you hit Command tilde, the key above the tab key, you can Command tilde back and forth between all of them, or however many tabs you have open. So here are my 2A and 2B. So here's what we just did. In actually I just didn't choose as strong a yellow, and I also this is the second one, so that's pretty close, and I think I changed the colors a little bit. So now here's my third one and my fourth one. These are just reverses of each other, and in this case I chose a different color for the glow color. I think I chose a bright orange. So I want you to have 1A and B, 2A and 2B, and 3A and 3B. Now, if you would, I'm opening up the Swatches palette because I want to show you something. Do you see this swatch that I'm just clicked on right there? This one, and this one. Those are special swatches. Now, let's say you finished this file, okay? And you had added these colors. Now, how do I add colors in here? Well, all I have to do is hit the B key for the paintbrush or hit the eyedropper, hold Alt or Option, and look, I can actually grab this dark orange right there. See how I grabbed it? See how it went into the foreground color? I can actually just click here, name it. Now I'm going to get a weird thing come up in the library because it says it's not there, but actually I restarted and the weird thing didn't come up, so that's fine. So now you can name this color if you wanted to. I could name this Client 5 or Client 4, or even come up with a PMS color, a Pantone color number, okay? But that's not what I really want to show you. There's two things that I want to show you. I think you all know how to save colors. What I don't think you know is what happens when you go eyedropping colors. What happens if somebody, even you, inadvertently, do you see the color palette? What if you inadvertently don't leave the foreground color as the color selected up here? What if you just click on the background but you didn't know it? Now what if that palette was closed? Every single time now I'm in the paintbrush, which is the B key, and I Alt or Option sample, do you see how it goes into the background color? Well, Photoshop uses the foreground color as a means of painting with a paintbrush. Wouldn't it be ridiculous if every single time you sampled a color you had to hit the X key to put it into the foreground color? That's just simply ridiculous. I mean, you know how many times you'd have to do that? So what I want you to understand is if you're sampling with an eyedropper, whether it be an Alt or Option toggle with the paintbrush, and it goes into the background, it's because either you or somebody else on the machine you're at, go into the color palette, put the solid line around the background color. Now I realize it's really small and you can hardly see it, but now I'm going to select the foreground color and close the color palette. And that now fixed everything. Look at how the correct thing goes into the foreground color. Okay, now this is the second thing I want to show you. Or the next thing. I want to go up to here and I want to save these swatches as an ACO file. Now I'm going to save them to my desktop, okay? So Photoshop would like to access my contacts? I don't think so. So I'm going to save this as filters. Did I spell that right? No, I missed the whole thing. So these are my filter colors. Good. God, Coors. Oh, I should have a beer. There we go. Okay. I didn't say that. I live in Colorado now, and never mind. You know where Coors is, right? Actually, it's right in my backyard. Well, not really. It's about 2.5 miles down and over to the right. But you see how Photoshop made an Adobe color file? Okay. It saved it. Now I'm going to tell it to save it to the desktop. Now I'm going to say save. Now, what did that mean? Let's say you bring your file over to another building and you open it up and your colors, your special colors are not there. I'm going to try to reset this so that there's no colors there, see? Now what I want to do is say, well, okay, how do I get those special colors back? There's no way to get those back simply, right? The answer is, of course there is. Now I may actually make an additional color library, so that's why I'm making it bigger, which means I'll have to get rid of a lot of my colors. All right. And actually I probably should go into very quickly. I'm going to make a mistake and then I'm going to show you how to actually get rid of all the colors quickly, because it used to be that you could hold Alt or Option or the Command key and get a scissors and you could scissors the colors out of here. But first let me load the colors. So let's go to load the swatches. Now let's look at the desktop and there's my filter color ACO file. I just double click it and boom, there's my special colors on the bottom. But now I'm saying, oh man, that was like, now I have twice as many colors. How do you get rid of stuff in your swatches palette? I'm going to go into here and go into swatch options. I have to say, I can't remember what it is actually. I think it's replace swatch. No, I'll get it. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Preset manager. I knew it was there. I just couldn't remember the name. So in preset manager, all we have to do here is click on the first one or the last one, shift click on the upper one. See, now I have them all selected. That was easy, right? And just hit delete. Now I'm done. Now you have no swatches, which is cool because now I can load those swatches. See, find your what file, your ACO file, double click, you have your swatches back and it contains your special swatches. Okay, that's enough of that. I just wanted you to have that knowledge. I wanted you to have the knowledge of the color palette. I'm bringing it back again, even though you don't want me to. And here's the foreground color. Leave it selected. Do not click the background color because it will become the dominant default. Okay, so let's now close it. Okay, now this is what I want you to do. We are going to experiment with something, so now we can turn on our little folder up here. Now yours doesn't say Brian, so I'm going to actually go to yours. And let me take both of these 3 and 4. Watch how I can take both of them and duplicate the layers to the original filter assignment. Now I'm going to hit Command tilde and I'm going to go there. Now I have those two there. Now don't cheat and just use mine. I've just shown you how to duplicate from one file to another file. I just changed the destination, right? Meaning you can go duplicate, boom. You can go here and change the destination to whatever file you have open. Okay, but I'm going to cancel it. Okay, now the reason why I brought this up is because here was now what I want you to do. So I want you to actually choose colors for these. And I want you to apply the shadows. So on yours, you're going to have no shadows. So when you get yours, watch. I'm going to take the shadow and delete it right now. I'm also going to take the shadow and delete it right now. And the reason why I'm deleting them is because I want you to understand something. I'm not sure any of you, except if you've had me for a teacher or somebody who concentrated on what is the difference between opacity and fill. I want you to tell me in this 2-question thing here what the difference is. But now let's experiment. Okay, so here's what is exactly what I want you to do. I don't care what you do with your shadow, but I'm going to actually add a shadow to that first one. So I'm going to take this. I have my character palette and my paragraph palette open. I'm making sure that both names, both names were on, for some reason they're over there, so that's okay. I'm going to shift click both. They were both on center align in paragraph. I'm hitting the V key to stand for Victor. I'm going to click and hold the Shift key to constrain this movement over to here to kind of give it a nice linear margin over here, is what I want you to do. Okay, so I'm Command S to save the file. And this is the student file, correct, Mr. Soriel? Yes, this is the student. So I'll just prepare it for you again. So the one mistake I have made in front of you today is I did not go to Save As right away. So if you've messed up your original file, just go back to Canvas and get it again. Okay, but what you should have done and what Brian should have done is gone to Command Shift S or Control Shift S and then saved as and added the name Brian in here or your name. So this is the original. I'm just going to put in here your name. And I should have done that. I'm a terrible teacher. So now with one of them selected, I'm going to go down. Let me move this up a little bit. I'm going to go down to the FX, which stands for layer styles or effects. So I'm going to now click and go down to drop shadow. Now I have left the drop shadow just on, and I'm going to show you real quick. It's on multiply mode. I have it on approximately 70% opacity. I'm not hitting the return key. My distance is out not so far, just a ways. I think I had it at 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. I think I had it at 7. Yes, that's fine. My size, which is really the feather, which is really the strength of it, see it's either sharp or it's out, was also at 7. So I'll leave it approximately there. And there's no need to spread it out. Spreading it out means it'll go actually just spread out the feather or the size of the drop shadow. So I'm going to click OK. Now the color in here I had as a this is a non-color side. The left side is non-color. The right side is this color. And the reason I chose orange is because the background is slightly green-orange. So I chose a nice, intense orange black. I'm clicking OK. Now I'm going to click OK. Now I want that same drop shadow. So hold Alt or Option on the drop shadow, Alt or Option. Grab the drop shadow and drop it also on this one. Now you have the same drop shadow on both. Now I can double click this one and I can name it student name. I'll just say student. And you can, it should have not stayed on center. That was silly. It stayed on center. It's my fault. That's okay. I thought I changed it. And I'm going to put in here student. So I don't know why it's doing that. It's okay. It's all right. I don't care. There, boom. Fine. Command S to save. So now, please watch. I am going to take the first one, name number 1, and I'm going to lower the opacity to 50%. Okay. The whole thing, the actual pixels on the layer and the layer style or the effect, meaning the drop shadow, reduced in opacity to 50%. Now I'm going to click on number 2. Now I'm going to move the fill to 50%. And look, only the pixels on the layer stayed. I can't get it to 50. And I can't sleep tonight if I don't have them both on 50. There. Now, what is the difference? I want you to tell me what the difference is by doing the following. Hopefully when you click on this, it stays on left align. So just go ahead and hit your T key. And if it opened up and the typeface was wrong, then change it. I don't care. But I want you to type your student name down here. So if this was you, I would simply drag across this. Whoops, I don't know why it's being stupid. Okay, I'm just going to put in here Brian. That's fine. And in order to get up here, let's just go to here. Click right there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I can't hardly see the cursor flashing. Yes, it is flashing. Now I'm going to hit Shift Return. And then, okay, I'm going to want you to type in there your answer. Okay, so lowering opacity affects everything on the layer. Now I'm not sure why that is being a bonker bait. Okay, why is that not being, that is really so, oh, okay. I'll just leave it like that and hit the return key. That's fine. So it affects everything on the layer. Now, lowering fill affects what? So I want you, it's not, I don't care about the grammar, I don't care. I just want you to tell me exactly what happens. So lowering opacity affects what? Lowering fill affects what? And I want you to type the answers in there. Okay. So on here, you would just click, use your arrows to move it over, hit the return key, type in the actual thing you want to type, and then I'll just default that back up. So please tell me your answers. And yes, your grade is kind of dependent on the kind of answer. It doesn't have to be typed beautifully. I guess I should have had an E there like this, so whatever. I just want you to answer the question, okay? And I think it's really important that you understand the difference. I'm making jokes out of it, but it's not a joke. I want you to understand the difference between opacity and fill, because I see students constantly doing the wrong thing. They're lowering fill all the time, and they don't have a clue as to what, see, I even wrote it. They don't have a clue what the real difference is, and I want you to have a clue. And I have no idea why that's not working. Anyway, so now the text tool in Photoshop is not like the most sensitive thing in the whole world. So what I want you to turn in is your name. You can type anything you want to up there. This is what I did on mine. Okay, and I would type my answers in here, and I want you to have your colors to the best that you can saved, the colors you used, okay, to when you made one, okay, it was black and white. When you made 2A and B, you had two sets of colors. You have two colors. When you made 3, you had 2 colors. So technically, if you even keep the magenta that's down here, you probably should have about 5 colors. Now what I want you to do is to practice saving your ACO file. Now, you don't have to turn it into me. I just want you to save those swatches. So you get used to, when you doing big jobs, you get used to saving your swatches. Okay? Because in the project folder, I'll bring over one, in the project folder that has all of your stuff, you should have an ACO file. So technically, if I hit the F key a couple of times, I should bring this ACO file right in here. And look, I now have the ACO file right in my project folder, ready. So ready for the next time the client has changes, ready to show the client, the printer, the correct colors that I used in my file, especially if they're corporate colors, if you follow what I'm saying. Now, I'm sorry for the long movie, but what I want you to turn in, I'm hitting the F key to cascade that to full screen, double-clicking swatches to get it out of the way. I'm back here. So you're going to have a file that has a folder up here with an eyeball off. You're going to have a file that doesn't have any extra swatches in here. Okay, now when I open up your file, I won't have your special swatches. So unless you want to, because I'm going to allow, if you want to include your ACO file and kind of impress me in the Canvas Dropbox, please go ahead and do that. I will actually load your swatches in and see how you did. I know I just said a little bit ago that I don't want them, but if you want me to have them, give them to me. I'll allow for all types of files to be uploaded. And you can upload more than one file. You can upload the PSD file. Don't give me a JPEG unless I specifically ask for it, or a PDF. Okay? But I don't mind if you give me the PSD file and the ACO file. So when I get your file, you should have 7 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you can close the folder up here, and then you can type whatever you want to inside of here, because I'm just going to, and you can leave it off for the time being. I'll turn yours on. So that's what I want. So good luck, and I'll see you on the next project.